love appears to be in the air. Breeze singing and trees living, a time of generations dying. The sea is full yet so many are falling, many born to die in neglect with their unaging intellect. Two ages to be forgotten, the world is promised to the young. I will travel to eternity where age cannot go. I shall transcend this life so bold. How age makes a man invisible. He wanders alone, tattered as his clothes. Forgotten soul finds song in his heart. Monuments of magnificence the seas have taken me to. Byzantium. Two ages to be forgotten, the world is promised to the young. I will travel to eternity where age cannot go. I shall transcend this life so bold. Sages standing in holy fire, spiraling as the masters of my soul sing. Desire overwhelming, don't deny but consume my heart. I know not what it is, but take me to eternity and unknown things. Two ages to be forgotten, the world is promised to the young. I will travel to eternity where age cannot go, and I shall transcend this life so bold. Once free from this body, I'll never come back again. Not to this place I'll be where goldsmiths work. To entertain the lords and ladies of Byzantium, it matters not what is the past, or what is passing, or is to come. Two ages to be forgotten, the world is promised to the young. I will travel to eternity where age cannot go, and I shall transcend this life so bold. Two ages to be forgotten, the world is promised to the young. I will travel to eternity where age cannot go, and I shall transcend this life so bold. 'Cause two ages to be forgotten, the world is promised to the young. I will travel to eternity where age cannot go, and I shall transcend this life so bold. lost friend's letter. In darkness I travel, my eyes upon a house disheveled. Walking the halls, all the pain I see, paranoia and anxiety. Usher was telling me, paranoia rising, the house is hearing, influencing spirits haunting, the house of Usher is falling. I had caught how it can be, the house, the leaves it's possessing, books and songs to help calm, the words brought sounds from beyond, mental illness growing thin, something's under his skin, what is he hearing? Paranoia rising, the house is listening, influencing spirits haunting, the house of Usher is falling. Plans not fair, we left her there, a tomb cold, but for her it could not hold. Paranoia rising, the house is listening, influencing spirits haunting, the house of Usher is falling. Usher's ghost, the house's host, like the wind she flew in from the cradle, no one could save, soon the grave, the house of Usher would but cave, her body on mine, we both lost to insanity's time. Paranoia rising, the house is listening, influencing spirits haunting, the house of Usher is falling. is turning, and not in our favor the wave, reaching a dismal height. A new cycle has begun, the collapse of kingdoms, a new world rising, politics colliding. The truth becoming a stranger, the mouth of a new era opening wider, a ceremony of innocent swallow. Second coming, a prophecy, a warning. Prophecy, prophecy, the second coming, a prophecy, a warning. An image, not one of holiness, a shared imagination, a symbolic revelation, a vision of darkness, a creature born from the chaos, a collective consciousness, brutal and godless. Prophecy, prophecy, the second coming, a prophecy, a warning. Prophecy, prophecy, the second coming, a prophecy, a warning. 2,000 years, the end of an era, history moves, it bends. When morals and spirituality become extinct to humanity, salvation hides where many won't seek, as an uncontrollable darkness swallows the world whole. Prophecy, prophecy, the second coming, a prophecy, a warning. Prophecy, prophecy, the second coming, a prophecy, a warning. The future looks grim from here to end, as darkness slithers in, up from your desert sand. A beast rises, a lion body ahead of a man, a soulless blank gaze, pitiless. An ancient power moving with purpose, showing no mercy, pushing itself into being. Cold, slow, and inevitable, birds flying in confusion as the ghostly remnants remain as echoes of the old world are left in end. Prophecy, prophecy, the second coming, a prophecy, a warning. Prophecy, prophecy, the second coming, a prophecy, a warning.
Guys, what's going on, man? Sorry about that getting in. It was just work. Just work. Just that's all it was just work. We had something come up and we had to deal with it. A lot of things going on in the world. A lot of things going on. Everybody's just freaking out. I mean, we got these people doing things that we never believed could be possible. I mean, it's unbelievable what's happening right now in the world. And it sucks. Work for me right now sucks. I'll be real honest. We're doing a bunch of extra work and we're not making more money. It just just frustrating. Oh man, getting in here and people are just not nice right now. The world is what it is. Let me get my phone set up here. How's everybody's weekend been so far? Have y'all had a good weekend? I hope you had a good weekend. I had a. It was a weekend. I didn't. It wasn't. Weekends are just like work. I tell you what though. Yesterday I slept in. Every couple weeks I sleep in, and yesterday I slept in. I was so busy today I didn't even get to do my breathing. I took the cold shower about the breathing, but I did hit the gym. I hit the gym early today, and I had a great workout. I know that. You know, talked to some pretty cool people. Let's see what we got here. People are it's so weird, dude. Like there's people that'll whoever whatever team, whatever side you're on, they say, you know, that's who won. Right? With Tucker and Huckabee. Not going to get into a whole thing, but both sides are declaring victory. The one side, I don't know how they could say that. I think Tucker took him to school, like just
Ask him the hard questions.
the things that
Couldn't
he was
answer.
saying were so like I'm just going like, what is wrong with this guy? I just can't. It's just, you're sitting there thinking like, how could this guy? But there's so many people though that they look at the situation and and it's like I've said before about certain things, it's like they're binky.
Mhm.
They don't want to let go of it because the truth is there now. I saw a post somebody had made about the Ellen DeGenerate, and they were just like, "Oh no, this isn't true. This isn't." And get over it, dude. Biden was never the president. Guy was gone by the time the presidency that even happened. He was. It's unreal. Can't even believe it, dude. I mean, it was. My dad used to be a Democrat. He's totally flipped the other side, and it's just he said that he looked at that and he knew something was wrong. Like he was like, this guy is not. That's not a person.
No.
What is that? Unbelievable, man. I'm telling you. Hey, Willow, how you doing? It's Gabrielle Craig's
daughter.
Yeah. But a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff in the news. So we got 200 people here. We're trying to get. We usually we get about 300 or whatever. We start talking, whatever. This is a weird story. Now, I got to tell you, before we get started here, I'm going to give you the rundown on how it works for PRT. We have tonight, which is Sunday, we retell people's encounters. And tonight is it's Martin. Let me make sure I get it right. Martin and I know two of their names. I'm trying to remember. I got my notes. I don't have my notes in front of me. That sucks. I was in a big hurry and I left without putting in my phone. But the guy's name is Martin, the first guy that we got the information from. And then he had a friend named Gary. And there was another guy. I talked to this dude. I can't remember his freaking
I talked
name.
to so many people.
Yeah. But and I just had that thing happen at the job site. I felt so bad because I know what this guy looks like and everything. So I'm trying to remember his name. And I don't have the notes on me on my phone. I know the story. And this is real name. I'm trying to remember, and I feel bad because I can't remember his name. I feel bad if I text Martin and ask, what's your friend's name again? Anyways, this story is a spinoff from what happened with the house in San Antonio, the Jimenez family. When they were living in San Antonio, they had, before they moved to Kansas City into that vampire house, they had a house where there was something in there. It was like a succubus. But it wasn't just them and their house. It was something that was in the neighborhood, the whole neighborhood. And then there was this giant that some people say may or may not. I don't. I'm going to be real honest. I don't know if that was connected to that thing. You know, I think there was something going on. There was these buildings that had been built.
I think that
And
could have
then-
been something older.
Yeah, I think something had happened, and I think he was just there. But I mean, you know, he's a Nephilim, or Nephil, or you know, whatever. I don't. I'm not going to sit up here and go, well, he was a good guy, because probably wasn't. I mean, he was a red-haired giant, probably was eating people. I don't know. People think we joke about that. Look at the people now; they're doing it. This thing is bright on me, so I feel like I'm being interrogated.
It's as low as it goes.
And I can't remember the guy's name. I'm so aggravated with myself right now. Give me 1 second, folks. I got to look at my notes. We got a little bit of time here. Hang on. Okay, there it is. I got his name. I had to go back and look it up. I had to message this guy, Martin, and get his information. I apologize, Nathan. I talked to you on three-way with Martin, and I can't believe I just forget. My mind blinked. It was Nathan Gary Martin. That's what the guy's names. And what they did was they went exploring Donkey Lady Bridge. That's what happened. Now, see if you can pull it up on a map. If we can, maybe we'll get interactive like we do on Patreon. Because been through that area, but I don't know exactly. I haven't actually gone there and just walked all over the place. We had a guy that came on the show, and we have a few things we can talk about with this. We had a guy that came on the show, and what he said was, his name was Anthony Ceballos, and he said that him and his son had walked through a portal at Donkey Lady Bridge. And he sounded very poignant and sort of remorseful that he even went out there. And he claims that he's been living. He came on the show on a live stream. Y'all remember on Tuesdays we used to always have the live stream. We always had a guest. It was always a guest. Now we're doing pre-records, and the guest is always on Fridays. But then we do Mondays. There's a bunch of people that come on, and I guess, and we have tons of people that come on as guests. That is, we have had this happen many times. People have brought up things about portals and things like that. But this guy, he came on the show on a live stream, and he's from a paranormal group, a ghost hunter group called Wraith Hunters. And Anthony and me are friends, but he doesn't believe this is the truth. He really doesn't believe this is his timeline. But I don't personally know that this is my timeline either, because there's so many weird things that have transpired that I don't know that this is where I'm supposed to be. I mean, so it's a weird thing. I can tell you this. Is it? Do we have it? I'll bring it up on the stage. There we go. Mm-hmm. There's Donkey Lady Bridge right there. Let's see if we can get interactive with this sucker. So here is Jet Road. Right. And like most places in this is South Central Texas, but it's heavily wooded, a lot of thick woods here. So it doesn't surprise me what happened with these guys. And eventually we're going to get into Meredith's story. Meredith was the real estate agent who talked about the big giant thing she saw walking in that neighborhood. She saw this big giant thing walking through that neighborhood, and she kind of discouraged him and his family from trying to move into that neighborhood. She told them that she thought it would be in their best interest to find another place to go. Now, Nathan, the guy whose name I couldn't freaking remember to save my life, which I don't know why I'm having a hard time with this. He said the same thing that Anthony Ceballos did. He feels like they went through a portal. But here's the other thing. He feels like that they went through a portal, or that these creatures came out of a portal. First, when he told me, like, okay, I feel like these things came out of a portal. I feel like these things came out of a portal. And then he said later that in the conversation, it was brought up by Gary, who said that, what do you tell him about what you said about how you feel like these things they came out of a portal. Right. And so I told him, I said, this is the third person a third group of people. Let's put it that way. Because there was another woman named Ashley. We looked her up. We haven't told her encounter. She saw a ball of light going over here. Let's go back on there. Can y'all see the little hand? Can they see it? There it goes.
Yeah, I can see that here.
So she saw a ball of light bouncing through the river over here, this creek. Went underneath this bridge and then came out the other side. I don't know which side that would be. But she said it was just kind of bobbing around. And it was blue. It was a blue orb, but it got bigger. And she said by the time it started out about the size of a tennis ball, according to her, and then it got to the size of a beach ball. Her words.
Oh, we have Mary D in the chat. She says, I was with Anthony Ceballos and we went through portals at the Donkey Lady Bridge.
Really? Where at? Where?
Right there.
Awesome. Not awesome that it happened to you. Okay, I'm not. Let's not.
Of course, we don't mean that.
Yeah, because
Not like
that was
that.
like when I was talking to.
It's awesome that you're here.
It's awesome that you're here. When we were talking with what's her name, Takayasha,
Mhm.
and she was talking about her experiences. I was like, it's awesome that you and Sean have this because it validates what I've been saying. I totally do not mean that it is awesome that this happened to you. It's like I told Ashley K. I said, this is not, I'm not happy that this happened to you. I'm sorry, Ashley M. I said, Ashley, I'm not happy this happened to you, but it validates what a lot of other people have said to me about this situation here at Donkey Lady Bridge. And this is something I don't want to have people run over there and start going over there messing around because the place does get really creepy at night. Now, I haven't been there like when we drove up to it. Probably been about 10, 12 years now. But I didn't get out because it was closed. And I was like, I'm not walking out onto that bridge because of the rumors of the things that people claim, whatever. And I just didn't want to get an attachment or something, let me enlarge this real quick. Wait. How do I full screen it real quick?
Here, you can just do this.
There it goes. So the rumors of this place, right? So part of my trepidation is that I don't want to get attachments, and I have been in a lot of creepy places. Thank you, Michael, for being a member. Join the members only. Last members only was great. We talked, we talked a bunch of mess for about an hour, and then we got down to business, and it was about the retirement home, and it was the conclusion to what we talked about last Wednesday. So Thursdays we did a live stream. We will be doing a pre-record drop next Thursday. And I don't know what we're going to talk about. We have about 20 episodes that we've recorded.
Yeah.
About all kinds of stuff. And I got another one about that's going to come up pretty soon too. So, I'm not even going to give it away. There's too much going on. We have recorded very heavily. We were in the studio Friday, Anthony and I, and we recorded for almost 8 hours.
Yeah.
With different
marathon.
people. Yeah, it was like 4 different people we just recorded with all these different witnesses.
Nose to the grindstone.
But here's the thing. We're trying to, bring it to you because right now I think it's a very pivotal time. It's important. Mary, thank you for sharing that. She says, yeah, we walked through there at midnight. Hey, what's up, Abe? See us? What year did they go through the portal? That's a good question, Mary. What year did you go through the portal? Because let me just let everybody know what Meredith was talking about when she introduced me to Martine. He went through there in 2012. That's when that happened, was 2012. So if you guys could tell me when that happened with you guys. So it's been, and then Ashley M and her boyfriend and her boyfriend's little brother, who was really just a young teenager, he claims that it's now affecting his life. Like he's had clinical depression from it. So that's the thing. I don't know what year that you guys went through there, but you're right, Abe. Abe just said the limestone in the creek can cause paranormal activity. There is something to be said about that limestone. Now, the people we're going to talk about tonight, when I went deep down the rabbit hole with Martine has a lot of stuff. Like he has a lot of stuff. An orb came through his window after this happened. They were not there looking for werewolves. They were not. They were looking for the Donkey Lady. It's called Donkey Lady Bridge. You want to look up the legend of it? We can talk about it. Before we go any further, though, here's the schedule. Sunday, we retell people's encounters like we're doing. This is obviously Sunday. Monday, we open up the lines, which tomorrow will be open lines, and anybody can come on and jump on and be a part of the show. And Dick Richards is my co-host on Mondays, and it'll be, yesterday was Saturday. and that is True Crime Paranormal. Check us out. Somebody drop the link, please. True Crime Paranormal. Check it out. Yesterday was the first episode of Chris Watts, and people were asking all kinds of questions afterwards. Well, why didn't you talk about this? Why didn't you talk about that? It's a three-parter. It's a three-parter. It just lays the groundwork, and for the next 2 episodes, we're going to get real deep into it. So True Crime Paranormal, we did Ed Gein for 2 weeks, and now we're on Chris Watts, the first of a three-parter that's going to come out every Saturday at 7 o'clock, or are we switching it to 8?
But I think 7 o'clock's a good time slot.
7? Okay. So somebody says, we out here, huh? If done enough times, it will damage anything not employed for the healing afterwards, playing with portals. Yeah, exactly. But here it is. That's the schedule. So Saturday, then Sunday, we're doing this. Monday, we have the open lines, and we can talk about anything, who knows what. Tuesday is reserved for the Patreon. If you're not a Patreon member, join the Patreon. We do it every Tuesday. We're doing Bigfoot and the Nature of Reality. And if we talk about a Bigfoot case that where there are ghost stories or other cryptids nearby, we'll throw those in there too. We're doing it more like the locations, right? So we did Timber Creek Ridge in Colorado for Estes Park. We did a story out of there and some different encounters that happened in and around Estes Park. That particular bunch of Estes Park. I'm saying that was just Timber Creek Ridge. We did those. So go check that out. That's Patreon. It's $10, $20, $30, $40, $50 tier. Each tier gives you a bigger, better swag bag, which is essentially a merch crate. And you get it after 2 months. And then every 6 months after that, you will get more merchandise. So join the Patreon. It is a good way to help support the show. It is the best way to help support the show. You can always donate and help out. Anything you can do helps. We're trying to hit our goal. We are behind this month, just a little bit. We're trying to hit our goals so that we can keep everything going, because we do have to, there's a lot that goes into this, and we're taking a lot of time off from work to record. We're taking a lot of time off from work to do the show. And now we have Maddie and Rain who are helping on the True Crime Paranormal, but Nellie's got her own channel, Dead Zone Transmissions. If somebody could throw the link on there for those, please. Dead Zone Transmissions and True Crime Paranormal. Dead Zone Transmissions drops, I think, once or twice a week, like Wednesdays, Saturday, Wednesdays, Fridays, something like that. So check out True Crime Paranormal Saturday, and then Dead Zone Transmissions. Now, we have another channel too. Okay, it's called Random Files, and we are coming in March. We're going to start doing work on that, and it's going to be a series after series of discussions and basically lectures that it's going to happen with me. Different people. I've gotten different people now that are going to come on and talk and do stuff, and it's not going to be paranormal. It might be a little bit, but it's going to be heavily history, science, geopolitics, economics with a little bit of paranormal thrown in, whereas this is a lot of paranormal with a little of that thrown in. So it's the yin and the yang to this. Okay. So that's what we're doing. And for the real deep, serious stuff, we may just have to go to Rumble on Random Files. So that's coming up soon. We're going to be doing that too. So this is going to become all encompassing. So yeah, it already has, but it's going to become more all encompassing than it is now. So join the members. On Wednesday, we retell people's encounters like we're doing tonight. Then Thursday is members only, sometimes a live stream, sometimes a pre-record. This Thursday is a pre-record for the members only. So join the members only, and you won't be disappointed. You'll have fun. That is not Patreon. That is something totally different. You have Patreon on Tuesdays, members only on Thursdays. So that right there, somebody just joined, right? Mystic Whisper Podcast. They just joined. That's a member. Okay. Join the members only. It's only $5. You get an extra show every week, Thursdays. And then Friday, we have guests. We always have a guest every Friday. We have a guest that comes on, retells their encounters or their stories or whatever. That's every Friday. We have a guest. And then that show will come on. That is on 7 o'clock?
Yes.
7 o'clock Friday? Okay, so we're dropping 7 o'clock Friday on that, and then we're back to Saturday, which is True Crime Paranormal. So check it out. Check out all the shows. Like and subscribe. Join our groups, Conspiracies, Mandela Effects, and more. The Paranormal Roundtable page, Paranormal Roundtable group, PRT Health Community. What is it called? Health and what is it?
Community Health.
Community Health. PRT Community Health. And then, of course, last but not least, PRT prayer group. So join that too. So there you go. There's all of our stuff there, whatever. And we got the books still. They're coming out. It was just my brother's been helping me, but his eye got infected. The book about the vampires, dude, I do believe that there is a spirit that is this is something that is trying to stop us from releasing that. I mean, it has been weird. Like, it's one thing after another, one thing after another, one thing after another. And I don't want to just drop any old book about whatever. I want it to be a little more comprehensive, than the werewolf book. Because I'm going to go back and we're going to write another one, adding on to some of the encounters and stuff. But this one, it's been weird. There's been a lot of weird stuff that's happened. My brother will be trying to write, and he'll hear banging on the walls. And I know, living out there at the ranch,
that would wake me up.
That would wake us up in the middle of the day. I don't know what that was. I don't know what that is, but Melissa says you're having a panic attack, Melissa?
Oh, no.
I had an anxiety attack earlier. It was brutal. So make sure that if you know this, I don't know if you know this, but I started doing this and it helps. Besides prayer, you got to pray. Okay. Ask God in the name of Christ to heal you, to help you, to get you through it. Trust in Christ. But I took a sour candy. It's like these, they have low sugar, but they're real sour. And I'll take these little sour candies and I'll eat them. And the sourness will actually take away it'll cut the edge off of that panic attack, anxiety attack. So for future reference, thank you for that donation, Whisper. We appreciate it. First donation of the night. We appreciate anything you can do right now. Our business is, even though it's caused us all kinds of headaches, it is not doing good. Financially, we are not hitting our quotas. We need prayer that we can get some more good, solid, continuous work. Because right now we have a lot of people who don't have, it's not enough work. So yeah, that is what the lineup is. That's what's going on. So check out all of that. Here's what I got to say about this. This place, do you know the legend? You know the story?
Well, I know that it's known for the sightings of what looks like a half woman, half donkey, and that there are actually like a few variations of it, of the like the origin story. One of them is that there was this lady out there who lived out there in that area, who was raised by donkeys and died in a fire. Sounds kind of silly. Another one is that there was a woman who lived out there who was unfortunately burned to death in a fire by that was actually set by her husband. She escaped. She escaped the house, but not before being horribly burnt and disfigured, and eventually passed away there by the creek. And another variation is that a woman and her pet donkey were murdered on that property.
Yeah. So that is the story, and it's been a San Antonio staple, a legend for a long time, for decades. I don't know that any of it has any validity, but I know this. I know that people go out there and have weird experiences, and I don't know if anybody. I don't have any stories from anybody seeing a donkey lady. Mm-hmm. I do have a story from a woman named Brooke who went out there with her boyfriend, and she claimed, this was back in 1989, that or 1988 or 80, maybe it might have been 89. I think she said 89. But she went out there. I got to go look it up. But I remember her telling me this, that she went out there and they saw a woman that was down in the creek wading through the water, like it was about ankle deep at that time. Mm-hmm. Or I'm sorry, waist deep at that time. She sees them. This is all they saw. they saw this woman in the water, and then she just kind of floated up, levitated. Well, my words were levitated. She said floated. I said, "You mean like levitated?" And she just came up out and went on to the bank, and they got the hell out of there really fast. And then there was Ashley M's story. We'll get into that one day, not today. We're not going to get into this. It's a drawn out one. But what we're focusing on tonight is Martine's story, or Martin, if you want to say it in English. So it's Martin's story. And then he had his friend Gary with him, his lifelong friend. And Gary's also married to Martine's cousin. So Gary and his Martin's cousin, they had their own experience when they went out there. So they went back after this and had something happen. For me personally, and I'm not talking crap, but I'm smart. I'm not. It's like, I don't care. I mean, even in an investigation, like, okay, cool, yeah, we got some footage, but people are just going to say it's fake. They're going to say it's AI. So what is camera footage worth nowadays? Not much, right? I've said this before, and when we reposted this stuff in Paranormal Roundtable group, all it did was cause arguments.
Yeah.
Or we posted it in Nick Valenti's group or anybody's group. It just caused arguments. I got tons of pictures, tons of stuff. And every time I put it on the show, then somebody will say, "Oh, no, not fair. It's fair. I'm not real." Whatever, man. So I just, I posted one the other day, and of course somebody messaged me and said that it wasn't real. And I'm like, dude, that was literally from a ring cam from my cousin's best friend. Like literally my cousin Donnell. That's his friend. That's his ring cam. Like I can talk to this guy's name's Bobby. I grew up with this dude. Bobby's not my best friend. I mean, I know him. He's not my best friend, but I don't think that was fake. Plus, there's a story that went along with that from a woman. Was it Lola Martinez? Was that Lola's, right? That was Lola. Yeah, Lola and her brother who had something chase them that looked like a freaking werewolf. Right there with that ghost image of that thing, whatever that was, that looked like a ghost. I guess you could see through it. It was dark. A lot of people will see that. That it's dark. One of the stories we haven't released yet, but we've recorded with, there was two brothers named from Houston. Their names were Marcos and Luis. And they had a friend named Marquise. That's a little confusing. Marquise was Marcos's best friend, one of his best friends. And there were two other boys too. There was a kid named Anthony and another kid named Trey. And they all swore to this, that this really happened, right? And what's weird about it is that Marquise's uncle saw this spirit come out of this fire pit where they burned this journal that had all kinds of satanic crap in it. And he goes out there to barbecue a few days later, and you've heard the story, Anthony. This thing walked. It came up like smoke out of the pit when there was no smoke, because he was barbecuing in a pit, like a fire pit, like a barbecue pit. This was a fire pit. And then it turned into like a man, and it moved out of the privacy, through the privacy fence, and then went and got into a car. And then I think it was like a week later, the neighbor, because they were freaked out. They didn't tell the neighbor what they saw because they thought, and his uncle's got a point. I mean, he's like, this dude ain't going to believe me. He's like, he's a black dude, right? And he just said, look, he goes, these people are Hispanic people. They don't even speak like them. When I hear them talking, they speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And he goes, but then his wife told him, well, no, they speak English too, but he thought they were from Mexico or something. And he said, they ain't going to believe me. I'm some big ass black dude. I'm going to go over there and be like, hey man, a ghost has just went in your car.
Angels meow.
Yeah. So what are they going to do? What are they going to be like? They're going to hey man, the black guy outside, he said there was a ghost in the car, I mean, it just, not to be funny or cute or whatever, but then a week later, though, that guy had a wreck and his car burned up. He lived, but his clothes caught on fire and he got like first-degree burns. But he's fortunate to be alive. But then Marquise's uncle was like, well, if I'd have known, I would have said something. But how do you approach strangers and tell them that a ghost or something like that's a good name for wraith? a black wraith walked into your car and went and got in your car, and then a week later it burned up. This happened in Pasadena, Texas. Well, it didn't happen in Pasadena, but that's where the wraith was, right? Down near Houston. But I mean, he's got a point.
Mhm.
He's like, I'm 6'4". I'm a big dude, I played college football, I'm not going to go over to these sort of, people and just be like, try to convince them that a ghost monster just went and got in their car.
Yeah, they're just gonna think you're some big dude on drugs, which is a scary
I'd
thought.
be terrified, But sad story though, Marquise is in prison, and get this, he had an alibi, but they also have video footage of him. So they went with the video footage, but Marquise swears up and down he's been in prison for 9 years at this point. He'll be out next summer, but not this summer, next summer. But I hope to get him on the show. I told him, I said, if you communicate with him, talk to me, because Marquise actually believed that a doppelganger, and so do his friends, was following him around. That's coming out. We have recorded that already, but that'll be coming out soon. So stay tuned for that. It'll come out that'll be out probably toward the end of March, right?
Yeah,
it'll be a while, but because we're still doing the stories on that. But yeah. Here's another weird thing. Marcos's girlfriend that got him into the occult and got him looking into the Shams al-Ma'arif, which is how he got in touch with me because of that book. Her name is Camila, the one that got him into the occult and all that crap. Jake, thank you. Because they found it in an abandoned house. You'll hear the whole story. But what's crazy is Camila popped up on my Amazon feed yesterday. And I was looking into drinks, low sugar, doing my diligence, trying to find low sugar alternatives, And I looked down, and out of nowhere, there's Camila the Vampire. And there's all these books. So apparently there's a vampire named Camila that's, and I'm like, what is that? Why would that pop up? Very odd. So I thought that was really, this is not coincidences. To me, all of this stuff that's happening is, thank you for that donation, guys. Everybody that's donating, we really appreciate it. I don't know what to say about this because it is, people are saying that they're looking at the files, the e-files, and that they're having nightmares and they feel like they're being threatened by entities. I've already had 3 people reach out to me. Is that what's happening? I don't know, man. Our world is not what we think it is. If a guy like Anthony Ceballos can go to Donkey Lady Bridge and go through a portal.
Speaking of, he's here with us in the chat.
Oh, good. Anthony, nice to see you. And then you have Martine, who goes to Donkey Lady Bridge. Now, here's what happened. Meredith, the real estate agent who was talking to the Jimenez family, told them. She told them, she says, I don't think you should live in this neighborhood. She tried to discourage them. She was very upfront and honest about it. Right. And the guy that was on that we talked about or whatever, he was just like, I am not, what does it say? We were real close to Bigfoot at that Forest of Donkey Lady Bridge. Wow. There's more than Bigfoot there, brother. Let me tell you. This is weird. So he basically says, no, him and his wife, they don't, him and Andrea's wife, they were like, no, we're going to keep looking in this neighborhood, even though Meredith told them not to. And she said, fine, do what you got to do. So she sold them a house in that neighborhood because that's what they wanted to do. They ran into her at a bar when he came back down to visit, his family. And she told them, because she still lived like the next neighborhood over. And she said, hey, what's up? And they talked and they hugged, whatever. And she was like, I was their real estate agent, and that she had some people with her. And one of those people was Gary. Gary is Martine's best friend, right? He's married to Martine's cousin. And Gary had these encounters. And, oh, no, I'm sorry. It was Martine that he was there. So he introduced them to Gary. And so they talked on the phone about because the Jimenez went through hell. They lived in that vampire house in Kansas City with this vampiric-like entity that people were seeing. It was black. And, you could also categorize that with the black crawler. A lot of people, you're going to hear about the black crawler now. Because a lot of people are telling me, hey, there's a black crawler. They're not just white crawlers. They're black, too. Solid black with red eyes. Here's what I know. That it's all connected. And I think that what happened to these people at Donkey Lady Bridge, and this is just the stories that I got. I'm sure after this makes the rounds, somebody will probably contact me and tell me, hey, something happened to me there too, We've already had tons of reports of Bigfoot in the west side of San Antonio, in this one forested area on the other side of SeaWorld. What's that about? People seeing a ghost, right? People seeing what they think is like a shadow or shade or whatever. And there was an apartment complex right there by SeaWorld. People were saying that there was a spirit that would go into their house. And then they were outside smoking one day, and there's a trail. They went down this trail, whatever. They just moved in over. They didn't know. They're from San Angelo. And they said, I think my house is haunted. But then I go down this trail, and I see this hairy, large. They didn't say it was ape-like. You know what I mean? But it was big and Bigfoot, basically a type of one of these throwback-looking Bigfoot-type creatures. And so you can't tell me it's not all connected, because then their neighbors are having the same thing. And I haven't fleshed it all out yet, but it was a woman named Marissa. And so a lot of stuff happens in San Antonio. That area is extremely haunted, but so is Austin. A lot of limestone, Going back to Donkey Lady Bridge, here is what I'm going to tell you. They started talking, and then the Jimenez people, they said, hey, you need to talk to these people here, So I got in touch with this woman, Meredith. It took her a while to get back with me because she's apparently a pretty popular whatever. And so she ended up getting in touch with me through email, whatever, and she gave me their information. I said, I would like to get your encounters too. So we're going to talk next week, me and her. She believes her husband became possessed and tried to kill her. So from that neighborhood in South San Antonio, which is not far from Donkey Lady Bridge, me and Anthony looked it up on the map. I can tell you this. There's something going on there. I don't know what it is, 100%, but we're going to talk about what happened tonight to Martine. We'll start with him. Yeah, they're connected to the missions. That's very possible. Anthony's ahead of me over here. I'm talking about Anthony Ceballos. We'll call him Ceballos because this is Anthony here. Ceballos is a little bit ahead of me there. Yeah, I was going to get to that. But here's the thing. What was that, dude?
Every time we're doing the show, like what?
That was loud.
What kind of office work requires banging around? Like
there's nobody here. There's nobody here but us right now. Like, okay, whatever. So, anyways, that was weird. It sounded like somebody throwing a weight on the ground or something. So here's what happens. They're at the Donkey Lady Bridge. It's 9:00 at night. It's closed, but they don't care. They park and they go and they walk around and they explore the area. They go down this little trail into the woods. Like there's they find their way, whatever. We'll call you Ray. That's fine. So they go down the trail, right? And they start hearing like a grunting, growling noise. And it sounds like something. There's like this popping noise. They hear this pop, pop, pop. The way that it was described to me, and y'all know what this is already. I mean, there's two things that happen. One with Dogman. I don't hear this with Bigfoot as much, but I have heard of it. I got a story out of British Columbia not too long ago where somebody heard that popping noise. But in the paranormal field, people that do the ghost research, they hear that popping noise too. That's why people with the Dogman community were like, "Oh, it's the Dogman. It's standing upright and it's their joints and all this stuff." And I'm going, The problem with that is that happens with the paranormal people, because if you want to make them two different things, which I don't think they are, because they're this show, we do all of it. And I'm telling you that there is something going on in those woods, because they hear this popping noise and then they hear a boom, bam, like something exploded. And it was like, you know how if a person falls onto cement,
Mm-hmm.
that's what it sounded like. And they were like with their flashlights, and then Anthony had, not Anthony Sabaus, but Martin, sorry. He had a light on the top of his head, kind of like the people from Hellbent Holler when they do their exploring. They have those lamps.
Those headlamps, yeah.
Ken Gerhard wears them, you know. So they were out there exploring with the headlamps, and Gary had a very powerful flashlight, and Nathan was there, and he was kind of lagging behind. He literally feels something pull him from the back of his shirt so hard that he stumbles and falls, and he lands on his back. This is weird, right? This is really freaky. He looks up, he sees the outline, the shadow of what looks like a wolf head looming over him. He takes his, what are you doing? Lock it up. Are you coming in, or what are you doing? Yeah, just lock up and come on. It's Maddie. She's standing there going, "Did you see Donkey Lady out there? Is that why you're scared?" Madeline's here. But here's the thing, because Tony's on vacation. But they literally, Nathan told me this when I was on the three-way with him, and he says he looks up, he goes, "I can see this wolf-like head." But he said that what he saw when he had a headlamp too, the headlamp went out. So he took his flashlight and just showed it. You know, he has one of those stingers like we do. He just like shines it, and it goes through it. It is transparent. It's black, but it's transparent. Kind of like what Marquise's uncle saw over there in Houston. That's why I talked about all that stuff. So what the hell was that? Then while he's laying on his back, and at this point, there was a three-way call, and I know Anthony, Maddie, y'all hear me talking to people all the time.
Yeah.
You probably heard me, "Shut up! One at a time."
I mean, that's every call.
Sick of your shit. I'm trying to get your stories here, and you're all talking like I'm playing cards with my brother's kids. I didn't do all that. But no, I said, "Look, hey, guys, you're talking over each other." And Gary has a very low voice, and Nathan has a very fast voice, and Martine talks very deep and loud. So they were just clashing, and I said, okay, one at a time. Because at the same time this was happening, Gary and Martine saw something horrific further into the woods. That's when Martine said, "Okay, I realized, like, I made a mistake. This was probably not well thought out." He goes, "And I'm not going to lie." He goes, "I hadn't had a lot of sleep, and I had come from my brother's birthday party, and I had a couple shots." He goes, "I didn't drive." But he goes, "The buzz was pretty much wore off. And we wanted to go to check this out. We were supposed to meet two other people, his brother and his brother's wife. His brother's wife wanted to go, but his brother passed out. So then the wife just sent him a message that they did not get and said, 'Hey, we're not going to be there.' So they were expecting more people, right? And a couple of people at the party were like, 'Yeah, we're going to go too, blah, blah, blah.'" Yeah, right. Bullcrap. So that didn't happen. And he says, "The wolf is in another part of the forest." Yeah, it's 6 miles in the forest. Well, I don't know how far they were into the forest. I know they went down in there, right? I don't think it was 6 miles where they went. So what they ended up happening was this thing grabbed Nathan, pulled him down. Nathan was like, "Look, I'm completely sober. So is Gary." He goes, "We don't drink." And Martine was like of the opinion that whatever whatever it was that grabbed Nathan had to be something completely different because they heard the noise up ahead of them. So there must have been two of these things, according to Martine. What I told them though was like that could have happened, and then this thing could have moved around and then attacked Nathan. Looking back on it though, Nathan was like, dude, Gary had the backpack with the supplies. He said, I got pulled by my shirt. I got pulled down. He's like, I had a long sleeve shirt. It got ripped. He said that this thing was a humongous headed wolf-like creature. That's how he described it. I said, do you think it was a werewolf? Everybody kind of got quiet. And then everybody started talking at the same time. Yeah, well, maybe. I don't know. What do you think? And they were all trying to agree on what it was. They've been trying to come to terms with it for a while. Many times they have thought about telling the story, like, we got to tell this to somebody, you know, so they went on a ghost tour downtown, I guess, down there in San Antonio. And they told the guy that did the ghost tour, and the guy at the ghost tour was like, oh, really? Yeah, that's $30. You take that kind of attitude.
Yeah.
So they were just like, yeah, okay, dude. And the guy's like, werewolves?
His head explodes.
I just go to the Manger Hotel and bullshit. That's what we do. The Emily Morgans. Why are you doing this to me? I don't want to know the real reality. You guys need to get the hell out of here, man. Pig and elephant DNA just don't splice. Oh, we're having a conference where we're going to talk about all of this. I'm not going there. There are ghosts. And that's it.
Got to keep them separate.
What about aliens? Got to keep them separated.
Back in my day, we didn't do all this mixing.
All this paranormal mixing. You know, that's how you get people who have weak hearts and things like that. So that's what they thought back in the 50s. If a white person has a baby with a Latino, that baby's going to be very sickly and probably die. Right? Now here I am 50 years later. I'm not sickly. Am I a ghost? We don't know. Am I a werewolf? I don't know. Here's the thing. I didn't attack Nathan. I was nowhere near aisle 5. Right?
You have an alibi for that one?
I have an alibi. Whatever night that was, we were playing basketball. Right? In the hood. Where the hood at? That's where we were in the hood playing basketball. I stay in the hood, dog. I don't know where you stay. I don't know where you go. So this thing basically had attacked this dude, right? While that's going on, he's not saying anything. He goes, I tried to scream and I couldn't open my mouth because I thought if I try to scream, this thing's going to kill me. He goes, if it can physically attack me, it can physically unalive me. He goes, and I can't say anything. Good point there. So Bio says, to tell the truth, none of the ghost hunters in Antonio go there. I practically live in there. Well, you're brave. You're brave. I remember when you came on the show, you talked about going into a portal. So here's what happened. They see this orangey, shimmery glow out ahead of them, and something moves out of it. But the weird thing is that it wasn't in front of them like this. It was like sideways where you could see, like if you went this way, you didn't see anything. If you went this way, you could see it. And they said it looked like fire.
Plasma.
Like plasma, yeah, like the Gen, right? And something went out of it like a shadow. Then it closed into like a ball and was bobbing around. And they hear something to their left. This thing ran to the right. So what is that? We don't know. The thing that was to their left was unaliving a deer. That's what it was. And Martine said, he turns around and tells Gary, go back. And they're like, where's Nathan? Then they hear Nathan scream because Nathan says, I finally was able to speak. And I said, help. This thing was walking around him. This thing didn't go, oh, shoot, it's the cops. No, he walked around the guy. He said, I felt it like it was heavy, big, heavy footsteps walking around this dude. And he says that it was not friendly. You could feel it and it stunk. It smelled like sulfur and blood and, urine, wet dog. When he got up and he was still on all fours, he was prone, this thing was staring at him. It looked way more solid. No longer did it look like a black, shadowy, wraith-like thing. It looked like a dogman, like a werewolf. Very big, broad-shouldered, and it had almost a brownish black, like a brindle color to it. It wasn't just black. It wasn't see-through. And he says, I'm looking right at this thing. He goes, and my friends come running up behind me, and Gary falls because he's got the backpack. And they turn around, and Martine is literally lifting him up by his backpack. Nice friend, because some people would have just stepped over him.
Yeah.
Like when we were interviewing with Sage, he's talking about his one friend, supposed to be his best friend, just goes, well, just leave him there.
Yeah.
Goodbye. This is a different case or whatever we were talking about. We interviewed, he's going to be on the show next week or next Friday talking about that. What's crazy, though, is like, you would think that, with all of this going on, like, Nathan would have been screaming, but they were like, he said help one time. He said, I had this weird feeling in my gut, in my head, in my neck. He's like, if I say anything at all, this thing's going to kill me. He goes, and I wanted to turn around and I wanted to say, hey, y'all stop. There's something here. Don't run into this thing, because he thought that this thing was waiting for them to come so that it could unalive them all. That's the opinion that he got. Luckily for them, and I think this is not luckily, but Gary is one of those people, he came prepared. Gary claims he was not afraid. Now, when somebody tells you something like that and you're just talking to that person one-on-one, like I was interviewing a guy from the UK not too long ago. Name is Sam. He's like, oh, I wasn't afraid at all. And his wife was like, you shut up, you. You're lying. It's bollocks. She was so scared. Let me tell you. She comes over, starts talking. He's like, no, you don't even know. You were already at the barn. And now they were arguing back and forth. And I was laughing. I was like, Sam, it sounds like she's. And he's like, Teresa, be quiet. You'll hear about them later. But they were arguing. You were terrified. He's like, I don't get scared. I was in the military. I was a Royal Marine. I don't get scared. I don't ever be afraid. Maybe the electric bill. That's about it. I don't. So there is that. So he's terrified, right? And so according to them, he wasn't. So when I talked to Gary, we're on a call, a multi-call, whatever. I said, Gary, I got this is a question for you. But I just got to ask you this personally. I said, were you afraid? He goes, I was. But he goes, I'm one of those people that's calm under pressure. He was in the Army for 8 years. And he said, and I brought holy water.
Huh.
I don't know. Is that smart to do? Probably. And I said, he's like Nick Valenti. Now, Nick says, he goes, I don't necessarily know that this is werewolves we're dealing with, because what I saw, he goes, I don't know if it was a werewolf or what, He saw that on the Lamapee reservation, right? Was it in Lamapee? Mm-hmm. But he said, I come prepared with everything, silver, whatever. That's what this guy did. Because Gary was smart. And what Gary did was he went by the church and he loaded up a water gun. And I asked him a question. This sounds completely crazy. I said, Gary, what made you do that? He said, the Lost Boys.
That's literally what I thought of when you said he loaded up with the water.
He goes,
yep.
Dude, I went and I put holy water in, and this priest was there. And he's like, what are you doing? He goes, tomorrow we're going to go check out this place. And I want to make sure that, and the priest was like, where? When he told him where it was at, he goes, you shouldn't go out there. He's like, there's a lot of bad people. There's homeless people and stuff. He didn't tell him there was demons and stuff like that. You know, the priest didn't go, "You shouldn't go there. You will be possessed, my son." But he did tell him, here, take a rosary, and he did confession and everything, and he filled some water guns with the holy water. But he pulled out this water gun and he sprayed this thing as he ran up on it, and at the same time they heard the crunching, popping noise. And I think whatever it was eating that deer, was not interested in chasing them because it already had the deer. But this thing didn't have a deer; it had them. So what they did was, when this thing got sprayed, he said, "I just aimed for the eyes. I didn't." They were big yellow eyes, like big round eyes, and he said that, "I just aimed for the eyes." And then this thing kind of like stepped back and was shaking its head like something was wrong, like it couldn't breathe. He's like, "To me, it was like if we were to get hit with pepper spray." I asked him, I said, "Why do you think that was?" And this is the first time I've heard something like this, but I said, "What do you think that was?" Because I know somebody near Steiner Ranch claims the same thing. Why? And he goes, "Well, it was weird. I mean, it's kind of like getting hit with pepper spray, I guess. I mean, it burned his eyes. You could pour holy water in your eyes all day. It's not going to burn them if you're a normal person. But this is not a normal thing." He said, then it backed up. He goes, and the weird thing about it, when it backed up, there was this shadow right there that was like an oval, and it went into the shadow, and it kind of like was gone. That, folks, is either a flesh and blood creature going into a portal, or it's some kind of, well, lack of a better term, wraith. I mean, whatever. What is that? What in the hell is that? These guys got up. They picked Nathan up. Nathan's like, "I just could not get up." He goes, and Gary was like, "You better get up." And Nathan got up, and they ran back to their friend's minivan. And that was it. They got the hell out of there. As they were driving out of that area, something ran alongside them in the woods, black, moving really quickly. And then it came right out of the woods, and they saw it for a split second, and it looked like a skinny, emaciated Dogman. Did not look like the same one that had done what this thing did to Nathan. Here's the interesting thing. So let's break this down, right? Nathan, they go into the woods, right? And Nathan has this something grab him by the back of his shirt, pull him down, and then he gets attacked. This all happened in a matter of seconds. It wasn't like some long drawn out thing. It was just, but we're breaking it down bit by bit here, piece by piece. This thing assaults him, I guess, basically. His friend basically, and I mean, just to put it in very basic terms, just saved him. Shot it with holy water. And I don't know if that works. I'm not going to tell you to go out and grab holy water and go around shooting monsters or ghosts, because I don't. I use it at my house, and you do what you want to do. I use Saint Benedict, in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. But I'm not going to tell you what to do with yourself and your physical protection, right? And according to Martin, he was armed, but he goes, "I didn't even have a chance to get anything out to do anything. I was too busy running." He goes, "And I tripped over Gary when he stopped to help Nathan up. And we all kind of tumbled and then got up real quick. And Gary just had to literally physically lift Nathan. Nathan said his legs couldn't move. When they got to the vehicle, they all just, they got in and they just took off. And of course, Martin has a baby seat and like a car seat.
Yeah.
He's like, "I nearly broke that thing just trying to climb in. I was like, I don't care, whatever." And he said that it was, a terrifying, horrific experience. But I have to say, the way that this thing started out, according to Nathan, when he put the flashlight and it went through, that tells me that that thing was not completely physical. But then when he stood up and he put the flashlight on it, it was physical. So did this thing come out of a freaking portal? That's the question, right? Did it come out of a portal and did it manifest itself like that? And Ceballos says, if you go armed, it will hurt you. You have to have heard things like that. You have to have a relationship with that force or the tribes that were there. What do you think, Ceballos? Do you think that it was skinwalkers, a ghost of a skinwalker? Or do you think that it was some sort of demon? What are your thoughts? Put on Maddie. Maddie, you're totally covered up by the chat there.
Oh,
So you're going to have to move just a little bit.
is that better?
No. You can move that way. Just move yourself over.
Oh man, I am like. You see me now?
Barely. But anyway, go ahead. Say what do you think?
Definitely sounds like it was. I would say probably not flesh and blood, but we know that. I mean, anything demonic in nature can manifest as flesh and blood. I mean, you hear about people that, under demonic possession or that are just in houses that are under some kind of demonic oppression, they can still inflict physical injuries. So can spirits too. So I don't think the idea that, oh, Dogman or even Bigfoot, how can they be, it has to be flesh and blood? No, because if spirits and demons can, injure you, these things have capabilities that go beyond anything flesh and blood. So
Danielle J says that she's been emailing this group. Have you been emailing me? Because I don't remember anybody named Danielle, and not recently. It's interesting. Yeah, and then Richard tells her that that we have open lines on Monday, and you can call in and tell your stories on the open lines. I'd be interested, Sabaz, if you wanted to come on tomorrow night after 8:00. We do the open lines with me and Richard. Jump on tomorrow night, dude, and give us. We can go over it and do the rundown of what you think this was. Be interesting to hear your take on it. Also, I have a guy who claims that he's been in contact with somebody who's a reptilian hybrid working for the government.
wow.
Yeah. And he's going to be on the show tomorrow night too. So a lot of interesting stuff. Tune in tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we got a lot of stuff going. Hopefully, Anthony Ceballos from Texas Wraith Hunters can come on. Daniel says, tried contacting. Yeah. Well, here's what you need to do, Danielle, contact me again. You got my email? Let me put my email down at the bottom here. There's my email. In case you haven't done it already, or maybe you sent it to the wrong email. But you need to message me. So please. Yeah, see, here's the thing. He says, Sabah says he's been in there 2 or 3 in the morning alone, deep in the forest. Martine had been there like 4 times. He went camping, or not camping, hiking all through there. He went there with his wife. He went there with his sister and her husband, and they had been there. He only had one thing happen. One thing. He heard a noise that sounded like something was imitating humans. And the whistling thing, that's weird because people claim to hear whistling, but that's chalked up to a lechuza. People say that it's a lechuza, like a bruja that's out there making noise. And if you're Hispanic and you grew up Hispanic, they're like, don't whistle back.
Don't even talk about it. Don't even think about it.
Yeah, I had some friends of mine that I grew up with, and my one friend, he was a guy I grew up with for years. Kim Teeler is a big dude, man. He's a black dude. He don't know anything about the You know what I mean? Now, my other friend, Steven Rieger, they believe that they came across a Lechusa one night, right? And Steven, I've known him for years too. We all went to high school together, these guys. And Steven had an encounter with something in my hometown. And of course, Steven's a white guy, but he married my first cousin, Rosalind, who passed away, sadly, a few years ago. But Kim was with him, and they were, in their late teens, early 20s. I think they said they were like 18, 19, whatever. They were walking through the hike and bike, which is a place where people have seen multiple things in my hometown. I talked about a story from my friend who passed away recently, and his cousin is a really good friend of mine, and we grew up together. And he was telling me that he goes, "You got to take my cousin's story and tell us." So I did, and it was the same night we talked about my other friend who had a werewolf type creature that tried to break into his house
Ugh.
right there off of Lake Drive in Taylor, Texas. Well, that guy had something at the hike and bike. And then my sister's boyfriend had something happen at the hike and bike. And that's in my book because it's Werewolves and the Dogman Phenomenon in my book on Amazon. But the thing that happened by the hike and bike, my friend saw something wearing a large trench coat and it looked like a demon with horns and everything. He woke up because he was trying to get this girl to sneak out of the house. And so he was walking away, or she did, and they were hanging out. And then he walked her back to her house, and then he was walking away, and he fell asleep. He's like, all of a sudden, I just get really tired, and I just said, I feel like laying down, sleeping on the ground. Which who the hell does that? Nobody.
Oh yeah, I remember this one. That was so bizarre.
He told me, and Scorpions heard it, D's heard it. We were all hanging out down. He used to have a party pad down off of 7th Street, 5th Street, 6, downtown. They had a nice party pad. It was right there downtown. So we would go and we'd hang out. One night after hours, we went there and we had a party, and he was telling us it's by the pool. He said, "Dude, I'm telling you, I just went to sleep." So, right before he passed away, I got his story. He retold it, and yeah, he was in hospice, and then he just left the hospice and passed away at home.
Mm.
But he did tell me that, a little ways before he passed away. And so I told that story, But this was all at the hike and bike. So these guys, they hear the whistling at the hike and bike there in Taylor. A lot of weird stuff happened there. And they start running. And so they told my friend Kim that if the Hispanic guys with him told him, if you hear the Lechusa cuss at it, it'll leave you alone.
Oh my gosh.
So he's running because they hear the whistling, right? They all take off running, and they start cussing at this thing. It's
Great
like
friends.
the whole time he's cussing at this, like while they're running, and of course that was, they had told him that before it actually happened
Yeah.
as a joke because they didn't really think that they would encounter something like this. But my cousin Trey, he was my cousin from my dad's side. He's been on the show too, talking about what happened to him at the Wind River Reservation with the skinwalkers and all that. And yeah, this thing, whatever it was actually swooping down, and they could hear it, and it whistled. So it makes me wonder, and then they all, but it was kind of funny in a way, but it was spooky and scary. But there were 4 of them, right? But then they were also laughing because the whole time he's yelling and screaming and cussing, thinking that that's going to work. And then when they finally get to safety to my friend's house, they were like, because we were all in the same grade. They get to our mutual friend's house, and they were just like, "Yeah, why were you cussing?" And and he's like, "That's what y'all told me to do." And they were like, "Oh yeah," because one of them had said that, because what happens if you encounter it, Well, you cuss at it, it'll leave you alone. But that was a joke. So don't cuss at it because that's not going to help. Hold on, one of my employees is asking me a question here. So, anyways, a lot of weird stuff. I mean, you have these places where in the middle of towns, there's these wooded areas, right? What is going on in these places or on the edge of town? And not far away is civilization. I think one of the most telling things was a guy from Vancouver who told me, he goes, I'm being chased by a Bigfoot and I can see the skyline of Vancouver.
That's so bizarre.
Isn't that weird? You're sitting there going like. But I had a similar experience. I just got the chills. I had a similar experience with some friends one time, and we were out at the Overlook. You could see the skyline of Austin, and we had something that was stalking us. We never saw what it was, and I'm not gonna say it was a Dogman, whatever. But we heard this loud howling noise, and it sounded like something was going up the sheer cliff face. So we got the hell out of there. But you can just look to your left and see the whole beautiful skyline of Austin, and you're being chased by something. I was 18. I was 18 years old. I never went back.
Mm.
Never went back. And people go there all the time. They're always going up there. But now there's so many people up there. Same thing with Mount Bunnell. I've had people tell me crazy, weird stories about Mount Bunnell because for years in the 90s and 2000s, this here in Austin, right, the Mount Bunnell, you could go to Mount Bunnell. It's kind of on the edge of town, but not. If you go too far past it, you hit civilization again. But that whole area is just kind of like mountainous, and there's not a lot of what do you call it, habitation at that time. Back in the 90s, now you can move back that way. But you go to Mount Bunnell at that time, they didn't have the park rangers coming and telling you, hey, you have to leave. You could go up there at 3 or 4 in the morning back when Austin was a tenth the size of it is what it is now. And we had all kinds of weird stuff happen up there. I saw a UFO. Well, no, I take that back. I didn't. The people that I was with saw a UFO. They saw something. I didn't. I missed it. But my friends were all like, oh, we saw a UFO. And then my one friend who kept pulling me into it, we were in high school here in Austin. He was like, remember when we saw the UFO? And I'm like, no, I don't. I'm not going to be your witness because I didn't see it. Up to that point, I had never seen a UFO. And I said, no, I didn't start seeing, I see UFO until I was with Nellie. And I told him, I said, no, I didn't. I remember when y'all saw one, and there were 3 of y'all that claimed to have seen it. It was 5 of us. 3 of y'all saw it. I didn't. Me, my other friend, we didn't. I was too busy, trying to lie to this girl. Yeah, my dad's the president. It's Clayton Bigsby. It's totally my dad. Yeah. Wow. Really? Where's your Secret Service? I don't need them. I'm tough.
To be young again.
Yeah. Young and full of shit, right? But no, I was busy. I was politicking, and they were doing what they were doing. And they're, we saw UFO. But it was Mount Bunnell. Now you go up there and they're like, hey guys, let's get out of here. This is where the homeless people live. Don't disturb their habitat. They'll be very angry. Then they'll throw shit all over the people's houses that live over here. These $3 million houses over here. All right. It's all about the rich folks. Let's take care of them. They're really the ones that keep the world going. If we make too big of a deal about what they do, the whole thing collapses. All right. Okay. So take your middle class ass or your poor ass, whatever. You're not one of them. Just get your ass out of here. Okay. Because the people that bought these houses over here complain about the noise. So after 9 o'clock, you got to move along. Okay, John Candy. I really did. I actually offended a guy because I was up there, whatever, back in like 2015 or something, 10, 11 years ago. And this guy who looked like John Candy from Vacation tells us you guys need to go, man. There's curfew here now, man. I'm like, really? So what I did was I walked down the steps, and then he's so out of shape, he wasn't going to walk back up. So I got halfway, and I said, I'm waiting for my friends. You can go ahead. And he's like, he's on the radio, and he's like, they're leaving. And he gets down to the bottom. Then he's yelling back up, are you guys leaving? And I'm like, we're going the other way. That's where we parked. We're going the other way. And then he's like, oh, okay. Oh. So he went and he sat in his car. An hour later, I come down. And he's like, you lied. I'm like, did I? Because I had to find my friends. I told you I had to find my friends. I really didn't lie. I had to find them. Well, I called the police because they're technically it's the county, and they didn't show up. Hey, man, I got some kids who don't want to leave the mountain. They're like, we'll get right on that.
Of course.
I'm at the Krispy Kreme. That's very important. Once I'm done with the secret mission at the Krispy Kreme, I will get right on getting rid of the kids at Mount Minot. I wasn't a kid, but I looked so young and sprightly, they thought I was. They're like, he looks like a child. Look at this guy. He's a 39? He's a 39-year-old child. Bless his heart.
Just a kid.
He's just a kid. That's what y'all's know the younger generation now. It's like, I'm just a kid. I'm 28. What is it with that shit? Like you tell them something, you just want to hassle kids. Dude, you have a beard like you know what? You look like Wozniak. Like, what are you talking about? You're not a kid. You're running Apple. It's like, dude. Rita, thank you for that donation. Look at that.
Thank you,
somebody
Rita.
gives a shit about us.
Awesome.
None of y'all other shitheads do. You pieces of shoot. You pieces of shoot. But let's get back on track here, Maddie. God, you're always like trying to, get us all off track. So what do you think this is?
I mean, to me, like all of these things have a metaphysical nature. I mean, I used to kind of entertain the possibility that yeah, maybe some of these are really are just like some kind of weird genetic experiment, but that's just an animal chimera. But over the years, like with report after report of like these things behaving in such a strange way, and there's always some kind of paranormal metaphysical phenomena attached to them that comes with the territory. I mean, I think that's just standard at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think that there are multiple explanations for what these things are, but they're all, to me, just spiritual creatures. They're not just like animals. There's something more to them.
And a question for if Ceballos is still in the chat, I don't know if he is, but do you think these things are territorial? And he said something about there's, going miles into the woods there. And I don't know how far out into the woods they were, and they didn't either because they just walked for a while. And then that happened. But, and that doesn't tell me anything for a while. Their encounter happened about 9:40 something. I know that. And they got there at 9. So I don't know. But were they in the forest, the 40 minutes, maybe a few minutes to get out and look around, take pictures, and then go into the woods? Who knows? Maybe 40 minutes of walking. That's not going to take you 6 miles.
No, it's not going to take you. It's really not going to take you very far. But I don't know.
Daniel J says, can you talk on why they sway? They don't all do that. That's the thing, right? Beyond the Box says, where's Randy? I think Randy, he was hurt. Need to pray for him. Willow, your mother, I think, sent me her encounter, and I may have told that. Because I corresponded with her at one point, like a ways back. She was been around for a while. And then and Danielle says, any theories on why their eyes glow? I don't know, guys. There's some people in the audience who've had Dogman encounters. I've had one. I saw one when I was 15, and I've said this before. I don't remember like the eyes glowing.
Mm-hmm.
Really? I know they were like orangey yellow or whatever, but I don't. People talk about them having like this glow,
Like they're self-illuminating.
self-illuminating. I don't know that's what I saw. What that's what that was, but the tail. I don't remember a tail. It might have had one. I don't remember it if it did. Now, what you're learning now, though, what we're learning now, we know that we know this: vampires are real. There are people who drink blood to, like adrenochrome and all this other shit, and you have the reptilians doing it, the vril vampires who they are the energy craving blood drinkers who actually are. I guess they're kind of at odds with they're a form of the Drake, supposedly, but they are taken over by the parasite. And so Sabah says the only way is to experience it. I'll take you there. I don't know if I want to go. If you guys and Ashley, who went through a portal, I don't think Ashley. I don't think I want to go. You know, I don't think I could deal with that. I mean, because if what Ceballos says is true, like his whole world changed after that, and that's kind of what Ashley was talking about. How her, brother, her boyfriend's little brother, um, he claims that he's in another timeline now too.
Oof.
And we had somebody on the show talking about in Tennessee going through a portal, and now he feels like he's not in this correct place where he's supposed to be. Like, I don't know. I mean, we know that vampires exist now. I mean, everybody, right, leading up to all of the e-files and all this other shit that knocked out, people were calling me all kinds of crap. He's crazy. He's kooky. I don't know why you're boo, 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 boo. I'm not happy that this stuff happened with the Epstein, but I'm happy that the files came out, and I'm happy that all my kooky, wacky theories are now vindicated. There's some that have not been vindicated, but they might as well be, because I've been saying this. And once we started talking about the vampire problem, everybody started coming out and saying it. Oh, yeah, I've seen this and I've seen that. 3 out of 4 weeks, a few months back on the Monday show, we had 3 out of 4 weeks somebody came on and told a vampire encounter of what they believed was a vampire. Now we're starting to hit the yeah. And then he says that you will jump timelines. How did you guys find us tonight? Because I haven't seen you around in a while, Wraith. So I mean, you've been on the show, but I haven't talked to you in a while. So did you guys how did y'all find us today? And so you have all these weird anomalies that happen in these places. I don't know. They're energy places, where people have all kinds of weird stuff happen. I mean, Hernandez Ranch. Yeah, that's a place that I went out there, and tried going out there, and I stayed too long. I was like, I'm not gonna stay till it's dark, and I let Noah talk me into it, and then I heard the noises. And I was like, you are crazy. He's crazy. He's got a lot of firepower out there. He has dragon's breath. Incendiary rounds, right, Anthony? Could burn the whole place down if he wanted to. He's nuts. Vietnam vet. But I told him, I said, you're crazy. These things are out there. They are. And then we had a guy who we interviewed for the book, and then he pulled out at the last minute me and Ken had interviewed him or whatever. It's weird, I mean, his grandfather bought land adjacent to that place, and his grandfather was like, what the hell is going on here? This is, Hernandez Ranch. He says, what's going on here? So he reaches out to me. His story ended up being told on Supernaturalist channel, if anybody knows who that is. And then he reaches out to me and he says, "Hey man, I want to talk to you about my experiences." And he owns a business out here in Lakeway, whatever. But so we go to dinner with him, me and Armando, Anthony, and Tony. When Armando was still alive, probably about 6 months into our show, so man, maybe longer than that, 7, 8 months in. And I would say probably it was probably right before Armando quit. But Armando stayed on for about a year or so. Not really as a consultant, but like he would still field reports, stories, and he would go out and do some stuff out. He would go on location. So I thought about doing that recently. Because there's people who do that. They'll go out and they'll interview people on locations. Or I thought about doing that recently for some people out in Brenham, because a lot of stuff has been going on out there. A lot. Like the people that saw the thing near the church, and not only Brenda that came on the show and talked about what she saw out there, her and Luke, not married anymore, but at the time it was them two.
Yeah.
And then
on the show.
We went by Weichels Bakery and we met another woman who had stuff happen. She was like, "Oh my gosh, me and my dad saw that." So now that makes like what, half a dozen people over there who've seen this thing. So there's more than Bluebell going on out there. That's an ice cream, okay, for the people who are not from Texas. And I'm telling you that this is not just people like, "Oh, it's just in your hometown." Like, no. It's pretty much all over the place. And if you asked me this and you said, "Hey, be completely honest and tell me why," because somebody at the gym asked me this the other day, because I went to work out my Paranormal Roundtable shirt, which got me a lot of, there were tons and tons of hot chicks just coming up to me and they were like, "I like you in that shirt." And I was like, "I'm married, bimbo. Get thee behind me, Satan." I'm like, get out of here. Go work out over there by the mirror.
Beating
And
off
if I stare at you, it's because you're ugly. Let's let them know straight up. Straight up. Are we trying to tempt me?
beat him off with
Kids
a
to
stick.
bail. But yeah, no. I had my shirt on. There were a few people who asked me about it. And then one of them was a girl, and she was doing the pull, like the back machine. I was doing triceps, whatever. And she's like, "What is your shirt?" And I said, "Oh, it's a band. I'm in a band. I'm a singer and a guitarist, and I play the drums with my feet." I didn't do that. I might have done that 30 years ago back when I was downtown. Really? Yeah. I'm a congressman, and I run this club.
My dad owns a dealership.
My dad owns everything. My dad, even if he did, he wouldn't give me shit. He's like, "No, whatever." But no, I told her, I said no, and she was with I guess it was her boyfriend or something. I don't know what he was. He didn't really speak, but I said it's a show I have called Paranormal Roundtable. And so she asked me about it, and I said, "Yeah, I got into it because years ago I told him about my book or whatever books, and I told him, I said, I used to, live in this town." She's like, "Is it just there?" I was like, "Hell no, it's all over the place, everywhere you go." And so I was getting ready to leave, and she had another guy that came up with her, and that guy was her brother. He's a big dude, and they caught me before I was leaving, and he was like, "Hey," he's like, "I had a question for you," and then we started talking right outside the front of the gym, and Anthony and Tony were coming out, and they were done, whatever. It was in the afternoon too. It was at Planet Fitness, but we were working out at Crunch, a different place, and this guy was asking me, he's like, what do you think this is? I said, "Sir, do you believe in Christ?" He says, "Yeah, I do." And I told him, I said, "I think this is ramping up because we're getting ready. It's coming. There's going to be a war." And I don't just mean, with Iran or Iraq or whoever the enemy is this week or whatever. I'm talking about the real reality. These entities They want to fight God, and they think they can win. And I think they're pouring in through these portals. And while these people want to run around looking for Bigfoot and Dogman and think that it's all just a physical creature, yeah, that's cute and nice and all. But I got to tell you something, and listen to what I'm going to tell you. There's already been a war, and they lost. That's why they're here. And this is actually part of their imprisonment. Where are the rest of them imprisoned at? Do you want to know? Here's an interesting thing. There's a place called Tartarus. Does anybody know what that is? Not tartar sauce, Tartarus.
It's a level of the underworld.
It's a level of the underworld, sort of, but it's also possibly Saturn. The reason I say this is because Kronos was the bad guy. He was Zeus's dad, right? That's the Greek, right? The Romans call him Saturn. And Jupiter was his son. And Jupiter overthrew him, and he got put into an imprisonment in the black cube above Saturn. Do you realize, too, that Saturn makes noises? Very odd, strange noises. It's a weird thing. When you listen to the sounds of Saturn, you listen to them and you're going like, what is that? There's these eerie sounds that come from it. Why is there a black cube above at the top of Saturn? Because something is imprisoned there. And it's not just one thing, because you got to remember, all of these beings have legions, and their legions correspond to them. Nowhere are you going to find, not in the Goetia, the lower lesser key of Solomon, nowhere, will you find the names of their legionnaires. You only know their names, the leaders. So that leads me to believe that it could be like the Satans, plural. They have houses, not a house like you live in, but like on Dune, like House Atreides, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have a house name, the Lannisters, right? The Starks, like on Game of Thrones, and they serve that house, and that's why when you get attacked by one of these demons, you're getting attacked by one of the underlings more than likely, and they will go by the name of the house that they belong to. Because I've had people tell me, I got attacked by Astaroth himself. I'm like, I doubt that. See, because if you weren't saved and you were in his crosshairs, he would have just killed you. Would have just killed you. One of his underlings, and these are fallen angels. I'm not talking about demons and Nephilim, dude. That comes from the 200 Watchers. I'm talking about the fallen, right? So the theory is that Lucifer is Saturn, Kronos, whatever. He was here. They would be the Titans, right? They were cast down here. That's how they ended up here, by the one true living God. Then you had the 200 Watchers that came here, and they had a war with these Titans for control of the planet. The 200 Watchers won with God's help. They defeated them, and they were imprisoned. At least the leaders, some of the leaders were, not all of them. The rest skulked away and left, because remember, there was 200 of these Watchers, so they overpowered the 72. The 72 with their legions. But think about it, the 200 Watchers more than likely had their own legions. 6,000 men is a legion, right? 5,000 to 7,000, but this 6,000, let's say 6,000 for argument's sake. So they defeat them. The ones that don't die, whatever happens, whatever, go to prison, and then the rest are still wandering the earth. You know why I know this? Because the book of Job.
Where hath thou been, Satan?
Yep. The book of Job predates Genesis, right? So what ends up happening, the Elohim, which is a plurality, and it's Elohim, which means like sky council, or, those from the sky, they come down and they ask the Shaitan, like, where hath thou been? It's a plurality going on, but it was copied and pasted like it was monotheistic, and they were basically plagiarizing, and they were taking from the Zoroastrian Persians, who they were imprisoned by. This is the Judeans, right? So then they said, where hast thou been? They said, walking to and from upon and within the earth, because you guys kicked our ass down here. And so here we are. Oh, okay. Well, check out Job. What do you think of Job? He's a really good guy. He doesn't, oh, really? Give us some time. Let me work on him. Let's see what happens. At that point, I don't believe 100% either way, whether the watchers had come, whatever. But I think that the Shaitan were still able to do whatever they were doing at that point. So my guess is this is pre 200 watchers. And after this, the Elohim decided we need to send 200 watchers down there to keep an eye on these Shaitan. Because look at what they did to Job. They could do that to anybody. So that is what I think happened. I think it's very possible that that's what happened. So then they bring them here and they become known as the Olympians, the gods. And that's what they did. They set themselves up as gods. And then eventually some of the angels came and were like, whoa, they've made a real mess of this place. And everybody's worshiping them like their God. And they told the Most High, and the Most High was very angry. And so they got in trouble. The question is, who is imprisoned on Saturn? Is it Satan, which is a Satan? We know that. But which one? The names come up over and over again, different ones. Then it gets confusing because you don't know whether it's one of the watchers or their descendants or if it is the fallen, the rebellious. They're both fallen, but two different times, there's a gap there. And in Enoch, it even talks about how, they fell in with the Shaitan. You did the same thing they did. We sent you here, and this is what you did. It's like there's a problem, so you stick a governor there, and he just becomes just like the people.
Part of the problem.
Part of the problem. Because temptation is strong. So here's the one question I got to ask, and this ties into what we're talking about tonight with the Dogman and the spirits and all that other stuff. What is causing these angels to do what they do? Then you have the Jinn, which I believe is something separate. I believe that the Jinn and the Jan were races of beings that were here separately. Because the world is 4 billion years old. Everybody pretends like that didn't happen. Oh, it's 5,000 years. Yeah, right. It's 4 billion years. 4.6, right? So then let's figure this out. There's been layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of civilization, not all human. I mean, our government came out and said there's aliens now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they're real, right? So what are these? Right? And everybody uses the term Shan for everything. And if you're Christian, demons, everything. No, there's different things here, different layers. Civilizations, human and non-human, living within the earth. These are CIA files. These are KGB files that say this. They say that there are non-human and human civilizations living within the earth. And remember, the Shaitan told the Elohim, we've been walking to and fro upon and within the earth. It's scary. You've been walking in the earth? Were you at Carlsbad? I don't know if you were, but I'm freaked out now. Let's find out where you were. It's pretty scary. So you got these things wandering around, but what is the deal here, right? You know this, if you've been watching the show enough, these are not the opposite of God. And don't get it twisted. They're nowhere near the power of God. Michael the Archangel wasn't even the most powerful angel, and he kicked them out. Him and his dudes just thumped them right out. Lucifer was the most powerful angel, and Michael the Archangel smacked him. And Jesus says, I beheld, and Satan fell from the sky like lightning. Like, bam, he got knocked out, right? Knocked out the box. But what is causing these angels to rebel? That's the key. That's the question right there. And what is it that we are seeing here? What's happening here? When you stop and you do the math and you take the timelines and you put them all together, right? And there's a lot of missing pieces. You can't just force it all together, but you can put together a pretty good, you got to figure it out a little bit if you're not stupid, right? So the opposite of God is not Satan, it's not Lucifer, it's not Azazel, it's not the other one, Samael or Semyasa or whatever. But no. Mm-mm. The opposite of God is whatever it is that is corrupting their hearts and man's hearts and all of their children's hearts, these lineages and these experiments or whatever the hell it is that they've done. These beings, whatever is corrupting them, and that is the blackness, the dark matter, the black goo. That is the opposite of God. And they used to be in the Bible, but now they've changed so many things, like the scene with Thanos and Scarlet Witch. Now she's giving him this big epic butt kicking, and he's got to call down missiles or something,
It's Mandela effect, I swear.
which before that it wasn't. Yes, Rain says jealousy, greed, lust. I agree with that. But that's all part and parcel of the black goo. You have people reporting all over the internet, seeing Bigfoot and Dogman and stuff with black goo coming out of their eyes. People coming out black goo. These reptilians, they have the black goo, the grays. It's a parasite that's moving through the cosmos. It is literally vampirism. This is what vampires are, folks. These creatures are vampiric. And they need energy and blood and sustenance, and that's what they're doing. The fear is the meat tenderizer. Look at the e-files where they talk about how they wanted the fear of these people and children. It was horrible. And then they consume. People are always like, oh, they just wanted to make me afraid. They were feeding off the fear. Yeah, kind of. That was the appetizer until they ate you. Anybody who comes to me and tells me this thing didn't hurt them and they think it's a good thing or whatever, you're full of shit. Or you're just that damn naive that you think that this demonic looking thing with big rows of teeth and claws is all those are just for looks, right? Those are just, I got my nails done. They're very pretty. Look at them. And what do you think this is? You think he was at the nail salon? Why does he have those big rows of teeth? What do you think the giants had 2 rows of teeth? What do you think this is? Are you going to get in the water with a great white and pet it like some of these dumbasses? This is not. These are predators. They were not made to be your friend. Okay, they have those teeth for a reason, and they're all predators. Have you ever even heard of one of these things that didn't have teeth?
Not one time.
Not once. They're talking like this. Hi, what's up? I'm a vampire. I don't have any teeth. You mind donating some blood?
I did a lot of meth.
This is the thing. The antithesis of God is the darkness. And I remember it was in Isaiah. It says, iniquity is a mystery, for we know not from which it comes, right? And then if you go and you read these other books like the Kabbalah and all these other, there's a ton of them. The Shanzal Mariv, the son of Gnosis, the Maya Khalif, whatever. Read these books and don't read the Shans, please stay away from it. I'm giving you the heads up. But there's a bunch of these books and they always talk about these things. They talk about these beings and what happened, how they fell. One of them, I remember reading a story, and I wish I could remember. It was so long ago, and it talked about Satan. It didn't call him Lucifer, but it said Satan, and it said his heart was turned against God, and it was on fire with anger, like a burning bush, like a fire consumes a dry bush, because the darkness was in his heart. The darkness. What is that? And maybe it's in the Tanakh. I don't know. You can find it and look it up. But don't use Goggle because we've told you the web browsers, right? But think about it. What is making them rebel and be evil? What is causing them to be evil? Because each one of these individuals can't hold a candle to God. God is the light. He is the source. He is the good, right? He's the opposite. In the Zoroastrian, it would be who?
Ahura Mazda.
Ahura Mazda. And then the shadow, the darkness, was Engamanyu, the first monotheistic religion. In fact, the three wise men that came when Jesus was born, they followed a star. Tomorrow, Wraith come up. We'll be on about 8:30 probably, maybe earlier. But that's what I'm talking about. That's where these things are coming from. You think I'm joking? Listen to me. I've been telling everybody that all this stuff that's going on now, and everybody's finding out that it's real. You're like, whoa, it's real. My phone hasn't stopped ringing from people from years ago telling me, what do you know about this? I know a shit ton. What do you want to know? Watch the show. People that poo-pooed me years ago called me crazy and said that I was so wacky. And I fought a war so that I could be here, that the Dogman community would not be swayed into this bullshit like the Bigfoot community, and it would be flushed down the toilet looking around for a physical creature that is not a completely physical creature, that is something metaphysical that the science cannot explain, because our science are like, and I'm going to quote the late Armando Salazar, my old partner, a 5-year-old blind kid wandering around in the woods trying to figure out what we're doing. That's the science right there. Thank you, science. Science cannot even tell. They can't tell us anything. They don't even know what phi is. If you know, you know. And they don't. But then they want to tell everybody, oh, you're conspiracy theories and dangerous pseudoscience, or you're telling people, they're just, stay away from these people that are the people that are telling you the truth. Now it's on a Department of Justice. Our president that we had for 4 years was not even real. Might as well have been Max Headroom. Or we had this other douchebag who was married to not even a woman. You think I'm joking? And the other ones were drug dealers. These were your presidents. And then still others were knocking down towers with their buddies overseas. Are you freaking kidding me, dude? And still people are like, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what to believe. Why don't you stop being a lazy douchebag and go open up and read it yourself? I did. I mean, go do it. I don't know. Seems complicated. It's like working out. I don't know. You got to do this. I tried, but I'm like, I don't know. I give up. I'm going to go eat a honey bun. You do that. Do you know where your children are? Right? Imagine if you were someone whose child went missing and you go eat at McDonald's every day. That's a harsh thing to say, but you know what? I freaking mean it. Because you're sleepwalking while these people are making The Matrix into a documentary. Because the black cube encompasses our world. It is the Matrix that is an overlay on our planet. Am I lying?
Nope.
And you're interacting with it every day. You're doing whatever it says, Yeah, exactly, Jody. You're like the freaking Truman Show over here. You have places like this, like with Wraith, where he went, or he goes hard in the paint out there in Donkey Lady Bridge. And these people, you're risking walking through portals. These are people telling you these are real. You can literally walk through a portal, and what these guys saw, Martine, Gary, and Nathan, we're going to get into what happened to Gary and what happened to Meredith. We'll get into it. And Ashley M., who was out there. These are people who experienced real evil, real things that happen to these people. Do you have the stomach to learn? I mean, do you want to know? Do you really want to know? Because some people don't really want to know. They just like the stories, and that's fine. If you're into the surface level, whatever. But what is driving all of this? Question. I mean, was Lucifer in the abyss? Is that story real? Did that make him rebel? According to Crowley, which we talked about him yesterday on True Crime Paranormal, the Temple Orientis, whatever. Was it Choronzon?
Yeah, I believe he was like the one in.
No, I know who. I'm
yeah.
saying, was it though that what cost him? Was that him? I mean, that's what Crowley says, but who knows? This is the sort of the black goo, which is the abyss, right? It comes from the abyss, kind of like a black hole. You know, it sucks in the light. The light, you know, they don't coexist. Is he the personality of everything that has been destroyed by the darkness? Because it's like a million, billion, trillion different beings who all make up this one entity. Because this thing eats everything. Like if you're into the comic books, like what is it, Galactus?
Mm-hmm.
Or the Transformers like Unicron?
Yeah.
They eat everything. They destroy everything. And God is trying to stop it, right? And it's the shadow. It's the opposite, right? And they're trying to stop God. That's the opposite of God, folks. What do you think they're putting in those? Go get it. You don't want the illness we gave everybody.
Hmm.
So you got to go get a little bit of that Hydra there. The graphene. The liquid sin. Then you had old Jeffrey. He wanted to put his own into everybody. Why not? I mean, you already have their DNA in you. That's why you are the way you are. You evil program. It's just the truth. People don't like it. They don't want to hear it. They still talk shit, threaten me, say I'm crazy, whatever. Haha. I assure you, I'm completely sane. I'm just ahead of the curve. Because I'm not mentally lazy. That's the key. If you're not, you have understanding. You reckon the number of the beast. And we'll get into some things too eventually. We're going to talk about some things further down the road. Some things that some of my colleagues uncovered about Bohemian Grove and some of these places where these people do what they do. The start times are even weird. Like, why do you start at a certain time? Why do you do certain things? Why do you do? And why do these numbers like 666 keep coming up? Right? But yeah. We just keep going to these weird places, right? And we figure out more and more about the nature of our reality, the real reality. That's why you come to PRT. Join us, PRT. Join us in the real reality. That's why you're here. I'm going to get out of here, guys. I got to run. I got things to do, and I got a recording to finish up, and I got somebody I got to meet with and do this patrol. Unfortunately, in this world, I still have to work. But anyways, do you have any closing things to say, Anthony? Anything?
Always stay prayed up and realize that there's what you're told is the real world, which is what you interact with on a day-to-day basis. Bills, work, this, that, errands, blah blah blah. But that's all. Those are things that we have to deal with. But that's mostly just noise, because the real reality is a spiritual. It's beyond. Most of it is beyond what we can see with our eyes. We have to learn to perceive with our minds, with our hearts, and with our spirits. There's a saying that goes, "Seeing is believing," but Christ said, "Blessed is he who has not seen and yet who has believed." So I would trust that. So just understand that what we talk about here is extremely important, and Wolf has dedicated his life to acquiring and disseminating this knowledge.
Somebody just asked about the Patreon. The Patreon's $10, $10, $20, $30, $40, $50 tier, and you get like a bigger swag bag, whatever. But yeah, that'll get you in on Tuesdays, and then Thursdays, which is the members only. It's only $5, and it's right here on YouTube. But you don't get any kind of merch or anything like that. But yeah, we talked about real evil. That was at a retirement home that I worked security for, and I was, it's my company that did the security there, and I had to deal with these people who were doing brujeria. That's what they were doing, and we busted them straight up. And then they threw a curse on me, and I had a little bit of problems, but we broke it. We tie, bind, and broke in the name of Christ. Don't let these fools win. And then when they're busted, they're always like, "Oh, what did I do?" Or they get angry, start making threats. Don't make threats. Don't try to physically you make your face look like Burger King. You want that? You want to have it your way? Stupid people. They are evil. They do bad, evil things, and that's just Oh, which channel? It'll be here, Melissa Cronenwitter. It'll be tomorrow night. Hopefully, Mr. Ceballos from Wraith Hunters will join us tomorrow night, and hopefully Sean will come on and talk about this person that he met, and we'll have it. Richard will be my co-host. Will be tomorrow night. One last look. We'll take a look at this. Let me see if I can get on over there. Oh wait, well, that's not it. Okay. Oh, Anthony's fixing it there. There we go. And if you're interested in joining the Patreon, we're doing Bigfoot in the Nature of Reality. And we do interactive with maps like this. And we show you the places where these Bigfoot have been seen. Bigfoot's been seen over here too. But that is Donkey Lady Bridge. And yeah. So join us in the real reality every Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're on every day. If you count True Crime Paranormal on Saturday, but with Chris Watts, what a piece of work he was. He was letting these archons just completely control him. But we still got 388 people in here. Who wants to win a hoodie? It's still winter. Got a little bit cold. What the last couple of days has been like low 50s. A little bit of sweater weather here in Austin, Texas. Here. Who wants to win a hoodie? Tell me if you haven't won a hoodie. Tell me if I haven't won, then you win. But it's first come, first serve. We're going to do 2 of them tonight. Jody Vargas says, "Me, please." Jody, I'm disappointed. Your name is not in green. That's how you become a member. Why is your name not in green? I don't care. I'm joking. Jody, have you won before? If you haven't won, I want a big boy hoodie, please, me. If you haven't won, I got you. Anthony says, I haven't won. Ceballos, I'll just email me and I'll send you something, whatever, dude. You're a guest. You've been on the show. Who else has not won? We had several people jump up quickly. Duke of Carolina says, I haven't won. Well, Duke, guess what? You won. You win, and so does Jody. And we got, you know what? I'll do one more. And Wraith, you don't count. I'll send you one anyway. Just tell me what you want. I'll send you a shirt, a hat, a hoodie, whatever. You're out there doing real work, doing what other people call boots on the ground when you're actually doing it. You're out there doing real stuff. So. Who's next? Who hasn't won? Andrew, I thought you won. I thought you had said you had won before. Let's see. Who else? So right after Duke of Carolina, Christina here says, I've never won. And she's, no, she's not a member. Hopefully she'll become a member, though. You guys become members, go back and listen to the episode on Thursday. The first hour, we're just talking shit and joke. We're laughing and joking, whatever. And it's funny, I guess, if you want to. But then we get into it, and then we talk about what happened at the home. Ashley, what's going on, Ashley? She says, Wolf, I'm begging. What are you begging for? I don't know what you're begging for.
She wants to win and giveaway.
Okay, well, I already did 3, and I'm also giving away Anthony's. What is tomorrow? Monday?
Mm-hmm.
I tell you what, Ashley, if you show up tomorrow and you just show up in the chat, okay, I'll give you one. Show up tomorrow, and I'll give you one in the chat. Who else is over here tonight who's saying they haven't won? We'll do it tomorrow. We got to save some for tomorrow. And Willow says about your mom, you know what? I'll send you one too, okay? You and Anthony. Who else? So if Ashley shows up tomorrow, okay. Actually, you know what? You know what she needs to do? She needs to come on to the live stream and come on there and go, I want my hoodie and I want it now.
It's my hoodie.
And
I want it now.
I'm going to act like I don't know what happened the day before because some people may not have paid attention, So I'm just going to go, what? What is wrong with this woman making demands? Get out of here. Who the hell you think you are?
I have never.
He's just like, this guy's schizo. What is wrong with this guy? He's a madman. Okay, so anyways, that's it for tonight, man. And then somebody says here, I haven't won in a year. Well, you know what? Come in tomorrow. Come in tomorrow and just throw that out there. Say, hey, I'm here. I'm here to win. Because let's be honest, here at PRT, I'm never tired of winning. I'm addicted to victory. I'm addicted to victory. I'm not going to lie, right? I'm not going to lie. I am completely, but we win so much. Us and the paratroopers, we win so much that some people in the community, not everybody, but some people in the community, they're just like, they wish they could stop us. We win and we win bigly. We do. We're the biggest winners of all the winners. There's winners and there's losers. We are the biggest of the winners. We're the winneringest of the winners. There are people that love to win. We love win. We are the winners. Some people love wieners. Wieners. They love wieners. Very odd, very weird. And we call them losers. They love the Osiris wieners. They put their wieners everywhere. Osiris wieners. Everywhere you look, you're driving. You're like, oh, look, another one is another wiener. They put them everywhere. Like the Amazon, it's a wiener. Everything's a wiener, right? The Washington Monument. I personally was against it. I said we shouldn't do that. We should put me up there. But I don't know. I didn't want to be too braggadocious. Being the president is enough for me. But you really should. Watch Paranormal Roundtable. They are the best. They win. The only one that wins more than them is me, the president. Everyone else is, but I got to give it to him. The guy wins a lot. He does. He really wins a lot. He wins wars. He literally gives other channels the pimp hand, and he tells you what's real. That's why you're here. These people, these other people, they're just, they're fake. They belong with Killary and all those other people. You got to be here where the winners are. Right? That's what Trump would say if he was here.
Word for word.
Here's Hillary. I don't know how this man continues to win, but I have plans to kill him. Did I say that out loud right now? I am joking. I am joking. Or whatever it was she did when she blinked out. Right? Short-circuited. Winners can't be win again. That's Bush. I think they're the biggest winners ever. I had a big winner And I gave it to Monica. Oh, we're talking about something totally different there. I'm sorry, folks. Pretend like you didn't see me at Ease Island in the dress. Yeah, no, we win. We win. We win over and over again, and every day we're vindicated. They're like vampires. Vampire. I guess I'll talk about it, and then they do it. Dogman is a werewolf. We're going to call our next show Werewolves. That's what they're doing. Monkey see, monkey do. Right? It's showtime. Monkey see, monkey do. That's what you're doing, right? Bigfoot came out of portals. Well, I think we're going to have to talk about that. And then they do it. It's just the truth. And then they're all angry. They're all just mad. How come this guy, whatever. We win, and we win big. And we're going to win big. TCP, True Crime Paranormal, is going to be big. Write it down. Write it down. You watch. We'll set the tone. And these bigger channels with the algorithms and all that, they'll steal from us, and they'll go and they'll do what they do. And they're not going to give me credit. They're not going to cite me as a source. They're just going to steal. And then they're going to go, yeah, I got this story. No, you didn't. I did. We did. We did that. Paranormal Roundtable did that. And we're going to tell you things that are the real reality. And where are they giving away shit? Where are these other people? These huge channels that make a lot of money. They make $10,000, $11,000 just on the ad revenue. We don't make anywhere near that. And why are these greedy bastards not giving away? Where is their giveaways? Do you see anybody else doing this? And then they want to talk shit. Like, be quiet. Be quiet. You're giving off that small wiener energy. Stop doing it. And the Osiris wiener. That the Khazars love to worship. And we worship it too. Huckabee, he loves the,
Mhm.
It's crazy, man. It's just nuts, dude. And then, people are telling you, like, you stop. You're hurting my feelings. World War II was not that way. It wasn't. We were the good guys. We were the good guys. You can scream it till your ass bleeds. It don't make it true. And before this is all done, your new world order that you wanted to usher in will be in ashes and ruins. And all of your little ponds and all these little shits that you threw, they're going to be ashes in people's mouths. Mark my words, because we win big. Yeah, they talked shit. They said, oh, they're not getting 500 or 600 people in the chat. Thank God. Who cares? You don't need those people. 10 good men can take out 100 normal men. I don't want quantity. I want quality. Right? That's what we got here. We got quality. Yep. Cedar Lake says it right there. They give nothing. They don't do that. All they do is take, grift, fraud, copy. Like sheep. That's all they do. So there you go, man. There it is. Another PRT episode in the books. We'll see you tomorrow night where people come on, tell their encounters, and we got some stuff already set up for tomorrow. So hopefully we'll see our friends tomorrow night. We'll see you. And those that say that they are going to win, show up and you will. Just being there, you're going to win. You're going to win knowledge. Right? We'll see you. Good night.
see all the pain inside me. Rosary, Mother, Mother Mary, can you help me? Please, God, don't forsake me. Remember me, remember me. Holding on tightly to my rosary. I'm a sinner, from cradle to grave. Jesus, I hope it is I that you save. The tears I've cried regarding my life, please, Lord, don't cut me out of the book of life. Rosary, Mother Mary, can you help me? Please, God, don't forsake me. Remember me, remember me. Holding on tightly to my rosary. My repentant heart bleeds, my spirit cries. I'm completely dying inside. My sins are great. I've tread the fire lake. Forgive me. What will it take? Reach for me, oh Lord, in my weakest moment. All of thy own. Rosary, Mother Mary, can you help me? Please, God, don't forsake me. Remember me, remember me. Holding on tightly to my rosary. I am guilty. I am guilty and filthy. Forgive me, take this pain away. I know I stray. My soul is tired with heavy burdens, no clergyman redemption. I stand alone, my sins ingrained into my bones. Heaven or hell, where will my soul dwell? Eternity is waiting for me. Jesus, I beg, have mercy on me. Rosary, Mother Mary, can you help me? Please, God, don't forsake me. Remember me, remember me. Holding on tightly to my rosary. Mother Mary, can you help me? Please, God, don't forsake me. Remember me, remember me. Holding on tightly to my rosary. Rosarium, Mater Maria, potens nemi.